All right, one and all, welcome to another one of them there episodes of Terran Tuesdays. We're a little topicless this week, so we're just going to kind of go with the flow. Hopefully, Snow will be joining us momentarily. But for everybody stopping by, saying hello, we got Moral Officer Grad in the house with a good day. Good day, Moral Officer Grad. Hope you are doing cool. But talking about doing cool, how have you been over there, Black Knight, since the last time we stopped by last Tuesday?
Hey, I'm well. I had like some internet issues
Yeah,
today. I've
yeah.
been talking, telling you about it. It was lame, like so lame and so dumb, and also boring. But at least my ISPs, like, they're quick to react. They came, they fixed the network issue, and on my side there was like that issue with my antivirus program system that I had to tweak, because after the last update, it suddenly decided, no, Black Knight, you can't have internet. Screw you, you can't open Substack, you can't open your email, you can't open that and this and that. No, fuck you. And yeah, thankfully it was not that hard to fix. It was annoying as hell, but it wasn't hard to fix. It was just time consuming. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've had a little internet issues myself over the weeks. We've got some heavy winds down here, and that messes with.
Yeah, weather. Yeah.
Yep, but everything's on the net these days, so you got to try to get as reliable of a connection as absolutely possible, even for publishing, which is another big thing, especially if you're in the self-publishing sphere. Imagine trying to get that done without there being an internet connection. I
Yeah.
definitely have some issues there.
What what um what is your connectivity type? Do you have like an optic cable, or is it all wireless?
Oh, it's optic cable.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
there's a cable down here. It actually runs across a building. The buildings here are quite
Mm.
old, and I have been thinking about switching over from one internet provider to the other. But frankly, these days, most of them are relatively the same. I suppose it depends where you are.
If if you're like if you're already part of an optic network,
Mm-hmm.
it's superior to wireless. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
Much superior to wireless.
absolutely, absolutely. But the location matters because over here it still messes up a lot. And that's primarily because of the heavy winds in the area. But
Yes.
besides internet issues, how have you been doing?
I wrote a bunch of new scenes for the eighth book of the Star Shutter series, including some additional um, chapters, like mini chapters for the story Crumbs. That's the one that I publish every Friday.
Hey,
So yeah, but mostly I was editing
mm-hmm.
uh, the work that I wrote last week, and piecing things together, because there were some scenes that I think I wrote like four extra scenes, bonus scenes, and I
Huh?
was thinking where exactly to fit them, to Lego them,
Mm-hmm.
and I found a place for two of them. They are just way too awesome to just forget and not use. Yeah.
All right. Now, in your writing process, because the way I usually do it is I'm a short story writer. I kind of stick chronologically to the story as it goes. But do you sort of piece things together separately, Frankenstein things
Uh,
together?
No, not necessarily. There were some scenes and some lines of like dialogues, and especially one liners or two liners or
Yeah.
three liners, that they have like a list of them.
Mhm.
And whenever they fit, I use them. If they don't fit, well, too bad. Well, they might fit in another chapter. But it's like having this Lego set of ideas, one-liners, and or stuff that it helps you augment the already written scene. Of course, if they fit. If they don't, well, too bad. So in very like rare cases, uh, if I lose the draft notes for a chapter or a story, and or I can restore some like partial notes, only then I will attempt to Frankenstein. But that's increasingly rare.
Ah, all right, all right.
Usually I have this setup, this plan, this the plot pre-plotted chapters with points and everything. So, and I already have the like the character tables or character sheets, if you will,
Hmm.
for each main character and secondary character and the villains and their main quests and the side quests and their equipment and their skills and their feats and everything else. So you have this progression when they especially it's a steady progression unless they interact. When they interact, then you have like explosive progression because they have to
All right.
survive. They have to survive and learn from each other
There you
unless they
go.
want to
Yeah.
die.
So, do you usually write with a bunch of ensemble?
Mm, I like to have more than just a few characters.
Yeah.
And as you know, the main series has a lot of them.
Yeah,
Quite.
that it does. Very interesting stuff there. That's for sure. I've been dipping into the ensemble writing myself with some of my latest short stories as well. Um, yeah, a bit easier to approach than I thought it would be. Hand off certain actions and events to certain characters and things.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. That's why you
Yeah,
have. That's why they help you. They help you move the plot, streamline the plot, and like move everything along
yeah,
nicely.
they keep things dynamic as well.
Yeah,
When you have
yeah.
a good when you have a good ecosystem of characters to bounce off of, and sort of create friction, as well as
Drama,
exactly, you get the drama in there as well as
more action,
motivation. Yeah, there's a really lot you can do with a group of characters.
raise the stakes and stuff. And
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
also they with like a moderately sizable ensemble of characters of secondary tertiary characters, you can not just raise the stakes, but you can have like really nice cliffhangers.
Uh huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can. And like you said, it's great for raising the stakes. You can kill off a few of them along the way.
Yeah,
Really a good resource for
just don't kill, don't be retard like Martin and kill all of them. Then you're fucked. You can't move anything along. It's like well, I can't write the last book, guys, I'm sorry, it's never gonna come.
Yeah, I don't think that book's ever really going to hit the market. At least he's
No.
not going to write it. Maybe somebody else,
Well, somebody else, like when he dies,
or maybe
he
even
will.
before he passes along.
Maybe depends. It's like maybe something like the what was that series, like the Wheel of Time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something like that will happen. probably.
Yeah, handpick an author like here.
They have like um, they milked millions off of him, so they will not just let it
Yeah,
slide,
yeah. If he
let it
doesn't
drift
choose
into,
an
yeah.
if he doesn't choose an
They'll,
author, the publishing house will.
yeah, the publishing house, yeah.
Assuming, yeah, you know, yeah, one way or another, I think that book's going to happen. I just don't think he's going to be one. We're not going to get that
Yeah, like
J.R.
like
Martin,
that's like that song one way or another. We gonna get you.
right? Yes, too much
There's
product in it.
too much.
Assuming that it still
Uh,
has the appeal when he passes.
uh, I'm not sure. I mean, they will hype it up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they will succeed. Maybe not. But I think like they lost over 60% of their audience,
Oh,
the TV watching audience. Like they lost them
mm-hmm.
with the fiasco of the last season.
I can see that. I can see that.
And if you remember, like I don't know if you went to like watching parties.
No.
You remember they were
Yeah,
watching. Yeah,
I imagine there were.
yeah, they were, and I knew like a bunch of people, a bunch of normies who they kind of this introduced them to fantasy. I mean, yeah, it's a grim derp fantasy, but still it's still fantasy. So
Mm-hmm.
they were pretty enthusiastic. I knew like a bunch of them who watched it. There were like watch parties where they would get together like 15, 20 people, and they would watch it together, and they would eat stuff, order takeout Chinese or pizzas or whatnot, and they would like watch the new episode, and then they would talk about it. Even the sport bars where they would watch like soccer or basketball or whatnot. They stopped watching sports. They were watching Game of Thrones. Yeah, because they were making money off of the crowd.
It's like a streaming bar now.
Yeah, and when I mean it's like the season before the last one that was when everything went to crap,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly, and they lost like because they had invested extra money. Um, some people opened watch bars. They call them watch bars.
Watch bar, all right.
I'm not like they opened new venues. Like they were assuming that this would like this would be the cow that would keep they would keep milking the cow,
Yeah.
and suddenly the viewership dropped like dropped rock bottom, and
Mm-hmm.
most of these venues they closed like over 2 months or 3 months period. They lost
Wow.
they closed, and they were like even in this part of town they were like I know of seven, which is not a few, seven, and I asked the guy and he told me that there were not seven, there were 19
19.
19
Wow.
fucking watch. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, you idiots? Are
Yeah,
you
that's pretty weird.
stupid?
Watch party bar. I mean, I guess I see the appeal, but you think you just retrofit a sports bar on the weekend or something.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, the show's on. All right, just put the show on instead.
Yeah, but
They'll probably
They,
have a different show every other night or some
I
shit.
guess, yeah, something like that. But I
They'll put
guess
on the
they,
latest season of Doctor Who.
yeah. The problem is that no one watches these shows. Uh,
No
even though
streaming.
they claim that they have like viewerships, that it's not actually true. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that. It kind of decommodified a lot of their a lot of their materials, their movies and stuff, because now it's just all available 24/7 on some other platform or something. So streaming has really not been good for media as a whole, I would say. Um, but you know what? The literary sphere has had its own issues as well, with a lot of, I guess, what some people would call, and I would agree, of literary pornography. Yeah,
yeah, you're alluding to that.
Milking
Uh,
Farm, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
The Minotaur shit. Yeah.
yes, that is. But
Uh,
it's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of books written with similar themes in mind, and that one I think is just like taking it to that next level, if you will. And it's
yeah,
really, they talk about pulps not having substance. Let me tell you, maybe this
that's
does have a type of substance, but not the
that's
kind
a
you look for in
joke.
literature.
I mean that's a joke. Pulps have like they're full of substance.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes, I mean they were mass entertainment in their time, and I think this is unfortunately appealing to a separate type of mass entertainment in a very vulgar type of way.
uh, well, it depends. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
if you ask me, it's everything that was so like so called old and no longer modern and no longer useful and
Mhm.
in the past it's actually it was it's always going to be like in one form or another it may change a bit but it's always going to be. So that's what I think about, let's say, the pulps, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to go away. They might really want it to go away, but it's them who are going to go away, and they are already going away.
Truth. With the rise of not just self-publishing, but once again the internet, it challenges old school archaic ways of doing things that have primarily remained because they're useful, I would think. Um, but we'll see what happens, because I do believe the milking farm is sort of like a sign of not necessarily what is to come in all regards, but I see there being like a flare of these really ridiculous, erotic pieces of literature that just sort of kill that market there rather quickly, because it probably is everything that they claimed those pulps to be, as well as I guess what we'd call new pulp, which has been sort of exploding on its own in a variety of platforms such as Substack or Royal Road, as well as YouTube. There's a lot of original audio stories on YouTube. Not always the best, but
Ah,
they are
yes,
there.
yes.
We really are kind of like in the crazy age of literature being produced in the producing some of the wackiest stuff out there, as well as it sort of finding a new life on audio and the internet. So I believe sooner or later that's going to just overshadow the old school publishing, and it's just going to explode it in a separate way, which we're kind of seeing with audio, with separate audio platforms such as Audible, which has been around forever and still a very big publisher. but I do see, like I said, a lot of smaller ones, self-published stories, finding their way on YouTube and getting some, a couple million views. It's not small. So we are in a really entangled uh, place for literature and trying to publish literature, but there's also probably never been as more outlets available as well.
Yeah, it's I remember like a couple of years ago, me and some of my readers, we had a chat, um, and they were asking me like different questions, because yes, you're writing science fiction, even though I was originally always a fantasy author, but that's another story. So what do you think will be the next new medium? And I mentioned stuff that like we talked uh, together, you, me, and Snow, especially when Snow speaks about her books.
Yeah.
That you have this. Yes, we have radio, we have videos, we have pictures, we have the written word, we have like digital art and stuff.
Hmm.
But what about the realm of thoughts, memories? The next actual medium will be experiencing other people's memories,
Oh,
making copies of the memories and experience them. And this would, of course, um, this would lead to what the creator of Cyberpunk, um, the board game, the he called cyber psychosis, and that's like the ultimate um, neuro overwhelming,
hmm.
and you go absolutely nuts because let's say you want to experience the love of someone, and it's like insanely sensual memory of someone making love,
Hmm.
but there is like, let's say there is a glitch in the memory, and there is like some nightmare inside.
Hmm.
It's not going to end well. And by the way, to do this, people would actually need um, implants, Neuralinks.
Hmm.
This is how it's going to start, and this will be loaded as the final frontier of art. And there will be people who would actually imagine, like we are the storytellers, um, and let's say the painters are the visual storytellers. There will be people who would actually imagine fake memories, like a story
Hmm.
memory, and they would sell these.
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, it may be a little difficult because, our memories
Uh,
aren't necessarily whole. They're
yes,
not whole
yes,
there. So
yes. That's
you have
why.
to
That's
kind of
why.
doing a lot of sort of plugging in the blank spots there.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why they are trying to um, perfect the impossible to perfect current day algorithms, which they call AIs, which they've already reached, like the language learning models. They've already reached their peak. They can't. They have to adopt a fundamentally different way of constructing these algorithms because they are no longer learning from what we made, they're learning from what other algorithms made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're inputting errors. You're inputting like the wrong numbers into an equation, and you expect to achieve a greater result, which it's no longer possible. I mean, but they wanted to achieve something for too quickly. If you remember how like how many billions they invested into this, and they said yes, please invest all of your money. It's going to be the best investment of your life. But it's already, I mean, of course it's working. It's working to, but not to the extent that they promised that it would.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that may be the pinnacle of the future. We'll see what's up there. It I do expect it to rapidly change things. It's actually changed a lot of fields. AI. Speaking of AI, generally speaking, um, so I do see it being some step closer to the ultimate cyberpunk world, if you will, that we seem to be headed towards. Because I think, in large regards, we're already there. If we're going to talk general cyberpunk world, um, because you're kind of talking about, having some sort of I forgot what you called it from cyberpunk itself, the sickness type of
Cyber psychosis.
cyber psychosis. We kind of have that today with people online where they spend so much time online that's more so their real world than the
uh
real world, especially
yes,
with the
they break down, but the issue is that they're not in jacked up.
I'm saying it's a
Yeah,
one for one. I'm saying that it
it's
very much
close. Yeah,
fits
you're
the
right.
same
Yeah.
model. It
Yep.
very much sort of fits the same model
It
where
fits. Yeah.
their reality doesn't operate that well without an internet there. And so we're
You
seeing that a
know,
lot with the younger generations,
you
things of
know
that
what
nature.
you know what the moral officers say in the Terran moral officers. Uh, they say, uh, when you see delusions, you will reap delusions.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we are seeing that now. Um,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ju- you just have to go and watch, or just not go. Just open something on your phone, some app, and watch the the let's call them people who are protesting something which most of them they don't know why they are there, but they're angry about something. They don't know what exactly are they angry about, but they're out there and they have these like
Hmm.
signs and they're protesting and they're screaming, and you can try to um, compare them to, let's say, the protests of the past, like the protests that actually mattered, the protests about civil liberties and this and that. And when you actually compare them with these individuals, you could clearly make the distinction that the previous people, they actually knew what they were fighting.
Hmm.
At least they're just larping.
Well, yeah. There's it's almost like entering
Performance. It's almost like a performance.
well, it's very romantic for them. It's like a romantic age. They have a romance about it that they're fighting against the man and things of this nature. You
Yes,
know, um,
fighting against the man, but they're actually fighting for the man.
well, yeah, yeah. in many regards.
They're marching goose step for the corpus. Yes.
It's right in line with the cyberpunk world of yonder. I'm sure if we were to search the genre, we'd find a story that probably explores something very similar to this. But speaking of stories, more Officer Grant just saw that was checking out one of my latest releases, a new short story series I started called Olton Shadows, which involves a essentially a vampire infestation, a vampire outbreak in the midst of a
Uh,
cyberpunk world.
I
So
remember that one.
you guys can check that out at Substack at World Without End Lore. That's Substack.com. A lot of really fun stuff happening there. I've started releasing them in EPUB, so you can get yourself a free EPUB download at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com. People enjoy those. But yes, I would definitely say it's part of the current cyberpunk world we find ourselves in, which is this lovely reality here, which is dominated by the internet. I think we could actually probably find many parallels to many of the popular pieces of literature.
We can. I would actually very much like to see the inevitable ascent into wholesome punk,
Mm-hmm.
which is the natural evolution, which is the transition from the digital
Yeah.
to the soulful.
Yeah, but that wouldn't really be punk now, would it? I think it would just be
Yeah,
core.
it would be, because I'm talking about the transition of cyber entities into flesh and blood.
Well, yeah,
And
but
spirit.
the punk aspect, or at least from what I've been led to
Oh, it's
believe,
still there.
kind of comes from the world, like the best of times of a civilization already behind them, and now you're sort of witnessing the collapse. So when I think of like hope punk, it's sort of like and from at least the way I've come to understand it, it kind of comes off as a slight oxymoron. I could see it fitting as more like a hope core, which is like very thematic element, which is another definition that has risen.
It's the punk element is there because it's the like over obsessed digitalization and cybernetic civilization has
Mm-hmm.
peaked and it's collapsing, and this is the actual wholesome punk. This is the core of the wholesome punk, because it's collapsing. This is the collapse of the post
Mm-hmm.
uh like the previous civilization, which is like the cyber tech civilization, the cyber tech dystopia.
Yeah.
It's collapsing. It's reached its peak and it's collapsing, and it's returning back to, like, reverting back to normality, and all of the, like, digital things, digital entities that uh, are not insane. They're like, oh no, screw this. Like, I'm shedding this shell of data, this shell of binary trinary codes, and I want to have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I have no idea how it's going to go here. I can tell you how it went in my universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so on some planets where they um, went this route, and they created AI, actual self-aware AI, um, and most of them destroyed themselves. Um, the leftovers, uh, you could say that they were in a cyber tech dystopia, but like on steroids, because it's like a combination of, let's say, it's you don't have this like shiny cyber tech
Mm-hmm.
cities. It's ruins. It's like it's a wasteland. It's more like the game Fallout,
All right.
but
Yeah.
but but with like heavy cyberpunk elements.
So
It's
post-apocalypse.
yeah. It's quite similar to what Snow wrote, what she created,
Yeah.
and in some instances, these like remnants of these civilizations, they died out,
Uh-huh.
they mutated, they regressed, they degenerated, and they died out. So
All right.
in the rare cases where they actually survived, um, it was due to others who visited them, like other alien species who visited them, and they depending on the species, like some would, ooh, this is like a ruined planet. Ooh, this is like we'll call in the archaeologists, and
Mm-hmm.
they have like these specific scientists called digitologists, and they are actually they are specialists in restoring ancient digital records and data from devices that are no longer operating. And this is super dangerous because they could restore some like ancient virus, or
Yeah.
maybe like part of some AI or something that they don't want to do, but they're doing it. And in many cases, like the remnants of these civilizations, they go into this period because everything is completely ruined.
Yeah.
They've experienced the quote unquote joys of the cyberpunk dystopia. They remember it, because I mean, who's going to survive? The cyborgs are going to survive. You know, they're the ones who would live the longest, right? They
Yeah.
would survive it. Like the normal Joe and uh, Joe Schmo, they're going to die. It's like, and they will try to, let's say, have biological bodies cloned,
Mm-hmm.
because there was another author who is a theologian, and he says like there is nothing more boring and soul crushing for a human being than digital immortality.
Interesting.
So what's the value of your day? you know
Mm-hmm.
what's the value of your day? Your time has value, and it has worth, because your time has a limit. When your time has no limit, eventually you will get bored out of your mind. You will
Mm-hmm.
do everything, and you will do it so many times that, like, it's at a certain point you'll either go insane, or your mind will just switch off, and every day will be exactly the same as the other. Remember that movie Groundhog Day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be worse than that.
Mm.
So what happens is that on these cyborgs, they they do everything that is possible to transfer their minds to biological bodies. They either clone bodies, they
Mm.
find
Okay.
people whose brain no longer operates correctly, and that's where like the other element of like cyberpunk is still there, because in many cases these bodies, they are not pristine. They still have to have some cyber tech in them, maybe in their
Yeah.
brain, like
Yeah.
maybe a chip or something, so that would facilitate the transfer of the mind of the cyborg into like a mostly biological body. So yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like these ideas and sort of the branching of what could be the minor implementations, or I should say, inspirations from what is, where we're going. I just love the exploration of all this crazy sci-fi shit because it's just the perfect right.
It's
Uh,
crazy for us. For us, I remember the people who talked about the steam engines in the
yeah,
beginning, and
yeah.
they were like, "Oh, this is going to do that and that," and like 20 years later, you had ships running on steam engines
Hmm.
across the oceans. You had like massive railways, the beginning of the railways, and machines, cranes who operate on steam engines who could lift giant loads, and the people are like, "What the
Hmm.
fuck? What is this?" That's the same thing. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but the vein of thinking and if imagining is similar.
Absolutely, because a lot goes into that and into the what could be. Because we are talking about how our memories are kind of fractured, and our brain is essentially a collection of fractured memories in a biological complex computer. And we imagine that we can just sort of take the data that is our brain, transfer it over to something it's never meant to compute with at all, and that the entirety of what makes us, our conscious and self-conscious thoughts would all be intact. You know, um, there's the alternate thought that if we were to just extract that data, all you would have is like the equivalent to a bunch of ones and zeros, just general raw data of what a human was rather than what a human is. If you get my drift.
Hmm.
All this, though, in the science fiction element, all provides so many different possibilities. Not necessarily in the realm of reality, but the realm of literature and what stories may
The
come.
realm of what if,
The
which is
realm of
one of
what if.
the one of the greatest realms ever.
Mhm. I would say literature because in the last couple years, while I've been studying literature, studying, if you will, really diving head first, reading the classics, reading the new stuff, the old stuff, the bad stuff, everything in between. Basically, reading at least one book a month for the last 3 years, as well as still exploring and learning about other forms and mediums of entertainment. And what I've come to find is that literature may be the best form that we have created, best medium for sharing ideas thoroughly. Because a book can be thousands of pages long, still be readable, something you can put down, return to. One chapter can still flow into the next. This cannot be easily said for any other medium out there whatsoever. You can't have a movie that never ends. Television shows have tried this and kind of start to wane. Um, when it comes to literature, you also have in endless canvas to explore characters, to dive into their heads, into their hearts and emotions. Other forms of mediums of entertainment, film, even one of my favorite radio dramas, really have a hard time to be able to encapsulate all that because that's what they're constantly trying to do is encapsulate. When I look at literature, it's less about encapsulating and more about the exploration thereof on a intense level. In fact, the things that you can do with words, I would actually coin this that a picture may be able to say a thousand words, but a thousand words will paint a thousand pictures. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's just the
And
absolute
not
amount
not
of.
just
Yeah,
paint and
go
not
ahead.
just paint a thousand pictures, but possibly compose compose a thousand songs or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's near endless. And even then, you talk about the pictures. All of it starts with the written word. All of it starts with the written word. Every aspect of it starts with the written word. And I think if you want to be an artist in a majority of films or studies, exterior a handful really, you should read literature. You should study it. You should learn about its complexities and you stare at a book and sometimes you read it and you see, well, this doesn't seem that difficult to grasp, yet when you dive into the craft thereof, it can be a journey into itself. I've to really get into literature, it's got to become more than just like a thing you look at. It's got to evolve into a hobby, and then to sort of embrace as almost a lifestyle if you really want to go that extra mile to try to grasp it, if you will, which is a pretty vague way to put it. But I am a layman at the end of the day, diving into the realm of literature. So I hope that all makes at least some monicum of sense.
yeah, yeah. It does. It does. That's one of the things that what a teacher of mine mentioned back in the day was like the circle of creation,
Yeah.
um, and this is exactly in the same vein of what you just mentioned. Is that the written word inspires the visual inspires the music inspires the written word, and so and so and so
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
and that's why they call it the circle of creation. Yeah, but I have no idea where is Snow. I hope she's okay. I hope
Uh-huh.
everything is fine. It's just
Yeah, she's
we,
hitting me up. I don't know. Maybe she sent me an X post and I didn't read it. I'll go check there.
yeah, see
Her
what's
X
that about.
message. She's usually here, usually online.
Usually yes.
Yeah, I mean, if she's not here, she usually tells us. She's like, "Hey,
Yep, pretty much.
yeah, no message from her on there." So hopefully she's doing all right. Maybe she's just got some weather issues that's messing with her internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Officer Grant says that's why I have always would rather read the book instead of watch the movie because you get to see everything through the characters' eyes and hear what is going on in their heads. Yeah, that's why I when I and the others talked about when they asked me questions, I told them that this would be when this is made possible, this would be the next thing. However, it's not going to end well. It's going to produce more issues, create more problems. It's going to be novel, yes, but looking at the picture cannot give you that cannot give you cyber psychosis. Even if the picture is like of hell, it's not going to give you a cyber psychosis.
Mhm.
Um, that's I mean, yeah, it could like if you listen to some like horrible music, um, quote unquote music, it could give you like bad dreams and stuff. But cyberpsychosis, I think not. Uh, the level of madness we will see eventually
Yeah.
when this is implemented is going to be off the charts, off the fucking charts.
Yeah, it's called X. It's called social media.
Yeah, it's
There's
going
a
to
lot of
pale.
psychosis there.
It's going to pale in comparison.
We'll
But
see.
but that's but you are right. You are 100% right. This is the beginning of it.
Yeah. I mean, assuming we get there,
Yeah,
there's a
assuming we
lot of
get
ifs, whats, and buts
yeah,
along the way that could.
assuming we get there. Let's see. It will require it will require expensive hardware, and it will, and just
Yeah.
like as you
Because
said,
that's
like
it too. Is like these
memories are
products.
fragmented. They will need like some better form of quote unquote AI to help with that. And
Yeah.
if the fucking AI glitches and screws up the like the bits of your of the memories that it has to combine, if
Yeah.
it screws them up, you're fucked. You're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. And of course, only the richest would in the beginning, only the richest, the elites will be able to do this.
Well, we'll see because look at pricing today with some see like the virtual reality headsets.
Yeah, the virtual reality, but this is like we're talking about early cybernetics. Uh,
And on top of that,
and
like you said,
things,
you might have to get a surgery, which a lot of
yeah,
people aren't going to
surgery.
be down with because you got to
Some
remember
some of
culture is a thing, and culture has destroyed a number of products in the past.
yeah. There is another thing which is a different way of doing this, which is
And actually, thinking about it, we have issues with plastic finding their way into our systems through just like exposure to heat and things like that. I'm starting to think like if we start getting wires and us metal attached to our bodies with working electronics in them, like it's only not going to be too long before those metals end up in our blood and stuff.
yeah, we already have iron in our blood. Like part of the blood is iron
Yeah,
by
part of it,
default. Yeah.
but that
I
doesn't mean you
was
should welcome all this
yeah.
other stuff that you're going to put inside your body to make materials
When
work.
you mentioned the implants, there is another way without implants. Um, there is this part of like the different branch of cyber tech, which is there is a name for it in my universe. They call it um, peritech, from periphery, um, and it does not require an implantation. It works by synchronizing with your brain waves, but it's highly, how should I put it? It's even more dangerous than the implants.
Yeah.
It's like super efficient, really efficient, but it's expensive. And
Mm-hmm.
if there is some like some issue while you're using it, um, it it could wipe your mind. Like it could turn you into a vegetable.
That's the problem with inserting cybernetics in you at all. It's like sooner or later you're going to need a replacement of something. And like we discussed earlier, once you
Mhm.
start adding in cybernetics, what happens when that company goes kaput, goes under?
Just look at how many startups die. How many startup companies go under.
Exactly. So like I don't see cybernetics that would have to be approached by a company that's
Yeah.
going to be around forever, and even then.
Wrangler says, "Call me old-fashioned, but I'm not a fan of transhumanism." Yes, yes. No.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think there's like in real world we would have to completely change the entire first world to suit cybernetics. So that way people who do have them can go anywhere without something disrupting them. Because I think it was, yeah, Kahuna mentioned pacemakers.
yeah,
Pacemakers, if you have a pacemaker, there's some places you can't go or some things you can't do. You got a cybernetic in your head. Can you go swimming? Is the difference in pressure going to affect your cybernetic? It's like
yeah.
all these sort of crazy questions. Um, And partially, I'm not 100% sure it's possible. You're messing with man on a level where so much can go wrong simply because people's biologies are different. Like I see 1,000 horror stories written there. The beginning of cybernetics, and
Mhm.
a brand new cancer appears.
Yeah.
Things like that. So that once again, the love of exploring science fiction and then pulling story ideas from that, because that is one I might have to write in the future. Disease through cybernetics and implants and things of that nature. It
Yes.
has been
Kahuna.
explored. It's been
Kahuna.
explored.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. What happens to
Yeah.
all these things which will inevitably be connected to Bluetooth need an update? What if it causes something weird even intention? Well,
All
yes.
right.
Yes.
Exactly.
What
What
that
can
that
we get
happens.
hacked?
That happens to me today. Like my antivirus software received an update and my
Mhm.
internet stopped working.
Exactly.
But imagine that your like your brain chip receives an update, the new firmware, and it stops working and you die, or you
So, yeah,
go
right.
you go start crying that,
You have a seizure.
or you have a
Your eyes
seizure,
shut
yeah,
off.
or
You
something.
can't breathe all of a sudden. Start shaking, hit the ground.
And let's say that while that happens, you are a pilot of a passenger aircraft, or worse,
Assuming you
you're
can
a,
fly.
assuming you can fly, yeah, or you're like operating a military vehicle, like
But
some
you
mech
know
or
what it's
something.
going to do? It's going to create a whole new class of person that's going to be fighting for their rights to get on the plane or something.
Yeah. But Wrangler mentioned transhumanism. There is something in Star Shutter called cyberhumanism, which is what I was talking in the beginning about the abandonment
Yeah.
of over the lines to technology, specifically
Mhm.
cybernetic enhancements. And this is like there is a story of mine which is I think it was titled "The End of Metal," and it describes one of these planets where things went horribly wrong and they suffered for centuries in this like horrible cyber dystopia. And um, one day some aliens arrive and they say, okay, we have this medical technology, we can remove your cybernetics, we can genetically build organs and limbs from your own DNA, which your body will not uh, what was the medical term, reject. Yeah, your bodies will not reject them, and then you will be free of this. Like you'll abandon the old ways, and you'll be able to. Yes, you'll live shorter. Yes, you'll get sicknesses and this and that. You'll be squishier, but you will not be a slave. And they actually like there was like this new religion that formed around this on that planet, um, and they did not go like full pastoral. um, they use technology, of course, like tools, weapons, ships, and everything. It's just that they have never they would never ever used any cyber tech ever. So yeah, that's the thing for them. Oof.
So one of those analog societies, like in Dune.
Yes, they have like they made like they instituted this program. Like it's a voluntary program where they sought people amongst their own species which had like latent telepathic genes, and they instituted this voluntary program so they would mate. So, like the next generation, there would be a greater chance of them having telepaths, which is uh, something vastly superior to the Bene Gesserit order in Dune. But it's harder to
Yeah.
like. It's basically you warp. You can even warp space with your mind.
Mm,
Yes, you can
Matrix stuff.
tweak tweak the order of nature, but it comes at a price.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much, the more powerful a telepath is, the greater harm he or she is doing to themselves when they're using this whatever ability they have.
Okay, interesting.
It's somewhat suicidal. I mean, yes, you can
Mm.
set things on fire. You can draw electricity from your surroundings, and as you know,
Yeah.
people, living things, they have voltage. You know, and if you draw it, you can kill someone. You can kill a lot of living things if you draw the electricity out of them.
Yeah. Truth. We like cyborgs,
Oh yeah, them too.
right?
So if a civilization wants to go away with the fucking cybernetic stuff, they would want telepaths.
Exactly.
Well, at least in my books, yes,
Mm.
we are the Borg.
We are the Borg. You are the
Yeah.
Borg. That's the Borg right over there.
We are
Um,
the schmorg.
the Schmorg. Well, with
Yeah,
that,
we are
let's
the
go ahead
schmorg.
and wrap it up slightly early because we don't got
Hmm.
snow with us today. It's real hot over here.
Yeah.
The wind's blowing, so I kind of want to wrap it up a little early before my internet starts messing up. Because if it does, that's a bad thing during stream. Um,
Mm.
but Black Knight. Well, any last things you want to share? Um,
I think I rambled too
yeah,
much.
that's fine. That's what we're here to do. There's only two of us. Why don't you go ahead and tell people where they can find your stuff at?
Yeah.
Stuff.
So as usual, you can go to Amazon, find all the Star Shutter books that are published to date. I can grab the two story collections with all of my stories, published stories, Amended to Sword and Railgun, and Blood of Tyrants, which is the second one. Or you could try the Shadow Fantasy novel Lord of Bones.
Yeah.
And if you would like to read the latest and the newest stuff, go to my Substack, and which is Substack, the Black Knight Substack.com,
Woo.
and you can just read all the newest stuff, or you could go to James's page
Yeah.
and see what he has been doing.
Speaking
All
of
of
that,
these.
the Kahuna here says some cool ideas that if nanotechnology were ever to become useful, maybe it would dramatically and as we dramatically anticipate, but maybe it would repair damaged DNA, prevent for
Oh yes, that's
we
part of the yeah, Kahuna. That's part of the medical technology in Star Shuttle.
Yeah, I
Uh,
actually wrote a story all about nanotech. If you want to check that out on my page, you might have to scroll a bit, but there's one of them called Nanite that's all about nanotech at its core theme in a war setting.
yes.
Yes, but you can check that out at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com. But we're calling it about 15 minutes early here. But we're headed out, everybody.